Hi everyone, Aiden here at Etrailer. And today we're going to be taking a look at the RockyMounts AfterParty platform style bike rack, and we're going to see how it fits on the back of our 2021 Jeep Wrangler 4xe. Now the AfterParty is going to be a really nice high-end bike rack, but most importantly I think is that it's going to work great with our Wrangler here because it has a swing away arm. So we can open this a full 90 degrees and allow the tailgate on the Jeep to open properly. Something that really can't be said for a lot of other bike racks. So let's start by checking that out. Underneath the rack, there's going to be a blue lever that you can pull out and loosen up. And this is going to be the thing that keeps that arm stable and from rattling around. You'll get to a point with this where you can hear that the bolt has unthreaded. It kind of makes that clicking noise. And once it does that, there's going to be a small pin off to the right that you can pull to release the arm. Now once it's released, you can fold it until it locks in and then keep pushing on the arm until a secondary pin at the bottom locks the arm straight out like that. Plenty of room for clearance on the side of the Jeep there, and of course, plenty of room for our door to open to the final stop and have full access to the back of our vehicle. Again, something that really can't be said for a lot of other bike racks. So if you need to sit down and change your shoes before or after your ride, have a snack, put on your helmet, you can do that. And you don't have to sacrifice this function of your vehicle if you have cargo back here. Folding it back in, it's just pulling the pins in reverse order. So I'll start with this middle one and then do the one closest to the bike rack and just get it all lined back up. The one pin should click into place and I can rethread that handle at the bottom until it's nice and tight. So overall, it's pretty quick to operate. And on top of all that, the AfterParty will work with a wide range of bikes. It can hold up to 2, and those 2 bikes can be up to 60 pounds each. So it's a great option for your e-bikes. It doesn't make any frame contact, so perfect for alternative frame or carbon frame. And with these adjustable hoops, it works with different size wheels. So if you had a smaller bike, that'd work too. Or even maybe some small fenders, since these arms don't have to go right up to the fork. If you had some small fenders, then you'd have clearance for those too. To release the arms, there's these blue levers at the bottom that you can push to release the tension. I didn't have mine very tight, so it didn't really break loose there. But then you can flip it up to completely disengage the ratcheting mechanism and just push that arm out as far as you need to, really. And the other side, you typically don't have to break the tension. So you can just flip it up, open it, and lift the bike away, which is nice because it's completely open, no center mass in the way. Although it is going to sit a bit high up. So if you've got a heavier e-bike, you're going to have to lift it pretty high. So with that height, you might want to know ground clearance. You're going to get around 31 inches, which at that point, it's not a matter of bottoming out. It's a matter of how high do you have to lift your bikes up, which is going to be pretty tall, like I said. But we also want to know how far this is going to stick out from the back of our vehicle. That spare tire being the furthest point out, it's going to add about 23.5 inches to the vehicle. So not a whole lot. It's pretty good for a 2 bike rack, but typically you'd have the option to fold it up for storage when it's not in use. And unfortunately, because it sits so close to our spare tire, we wouldn't be able to properly fold it up and lock it in. So you're not going to get a good storage feature here just because of that spare tire. And that's going to be true for really most bike racks out there, especially at the platform side of things. So if you want to keep this in the hitch between rides, that's how much length you're going to be adding pretty much all the time. So I just watch out for it, especially when you're driving around and parking. Now at the bottom here, it's working with our 2" by 2" receiver tube, and it does come with an anti-rattle bolt that locks on the other side right here. That lock is key-to-like to a locking point up at the top of the carrier too, so you can lock your bike rack in the hitch and your bikes to the rack. And here's a better look at where that locking point is. Your rack will come with a pretty heavy-duty chain that's got some fabric around it, and this is the point that the chain would lock into right here. Because it's such a heavy chain, Rocky Mounts does not advise driving with it on, but if you leave your bikes unattended, it's gonna be very secure. But as far as e-bike capable racks that work great with the Wrangler's back tailgate, this is one of the few because of that swing away arm. There's plenty of other bike racks that you can get that have separate swing away arms you can buy, like the Kuat Pivot, and pairing that with the Kuat Envy, I think would be a really great combo. But if you're looking for an all-in-one solution, I really personally like the AfterParty. I've used it a lot on my truck. It works great with those tailgates too, but regardless, it's going to be a solid option. If you like the style, but you're not wanting to go so premium because this is a really high-end rack, I'd recommend something like the RockyMounts Backstage. It's a very similar rack, same weight capacity, just not as nice construction, and that's going to have a swing away arm too. It'll work great with the Wrangler, just like this one does, but be a little bit more of a budget-friendly option. Still a nice rack, but definitely not as premium as the AfterParty here. But regardless of which one you choose, I think the swing away style is a great way to go, especially for the 2021 Jeep Wrangler 4xe. My name's Aiden, and thanks for watching.
Here we are on our test course. As we hit the alternating bumps, you can see what it would be like to hit a pothole on the road. Our solid speed bumps simulate pulling in and out of a driveway or hitting a speed bump in a parking lot. We use the slalom portion of our course to simulate the side-to-side movement, such as turning corners or evasive maneuvers.